Hey, what's up, guys? I am here today to talk about breaking out of the beginner levels of a language. And hopefully, we're going to have some discussion about just our different experiences that we've had being beginners in various languages, because it's a very relevant topic to me right now because I am a beginner in the Thai language. I want to talk a little bit about my experiences being a beginner and how I came out of the beginner stage of the various other languages that I've learned, as well as hopefully hearing from some of you and hearing about your experiences and what you guys have done. So I've been studying Thai now for about 3 months, a little more than 3 months. I'm still like probably an A1 level, I would say. I'm like a solid A1. For me, the levels kind of blends together a little bit. So like do a level on Duolingo, and then all of a sudden you're A2 now, or then all of a sudden you're B1. It's like you never really know exactly what level you're at. But you know, they do have some good descriptions of what you should be able to do at each level, as well as there are you'll have different levels for different skills within a language. So my reading proficiency in Spanish is going to be probably at a very different level than my listening and speaking and writing levels in Spanish. Just because, I don't know, reading comes easier to me than conversing with people for some reason. Especially in Thai, because Thai uses a very different alphabet, okay, than what I'm used to. And honestly, for me, the Thai alphabet so far has been maybe the most difficult part of the language. It's crazy, you guys. The Thai alphabet is crazy. There's like, I don't know, 45 letters or something like that, but a bunch of them make the same sound. Or you just have to know like if a Thai word came from Sanskrit or from Pali from like many years ago, and that determines which letter is used in the word. And it's like, it makes no sense. It's kind of like English in that regard, I guess. It's like, why does, in English, why does the word cough end in O-U-G-H? And so does thorough and enough end in the same sound and in the same 4 letters. Doesn't make any sense. Now I understand the struggle of people who have had to learn English as a second language, because, man, it's rough. It is a rough alphabet to learn. As far as the actual language itself, I don't feel like Thai is that tough. It's tonal. That's hard for me to learn. You have to make a distinction between long and short vowels. Sometimes I have problems with that. But like as far as the grammar of Thai, it seems pretty basic. Whereas like with Spanish, you have like, all right, comer, como, comí, comimos, comía, comieron. What else do you have? Coméis, coma, comaron, I don't know. I can't even think of all the conjugations of comer. And I know I just made a few of those up. But there's like 60 or 70 ways of saying eat, depending on who is doing it, what time it's being done, how it's being done. You have to know the difference between the preterite and the imperfect. You have to know the difference between the subjunctive mood and the imperative mood and the indicative mood and the conditional. And it's just a lot. And then in Thai, it's gin. and that's just it. And like once you've learned that word, you know how to say eat. So Thai, it's hard, but like it's comparatively easy to learn the grammar to some of the other European languages that I've learned, at least so far. In my A1 level, I haven't reached the point yet where the grammar is difficult. They have this weird thing where everything has to have a classifier. So like, how would you explain that? So like in English or Spanish or whatever, you would say like, I'll have 2 bottles of Coke. All right. And you wouldn't say I'll have 2 Cokes. I guess you could say I'll have 2 Cokes, but you say like, I'll have 2 bottles of Coke or 2 bowls of rice, or, you know, I don't know, 2, what else would you use a uniform? I don't know. You get my point though. In Thai, you have to do that with everything. So it's like, you have to do that not just with like bowls and glasses and bottles, but with like people and animals and tables. You have 2 units of tables. It's just, that part is a little bit tough. But it's like in English where you would say like, he had gone to the store, or if you wanted to say like, I had gone to the store to buy rice. In Thai, it's just like, go store, buy rice. And you just like get to leave out all the stuff. It's like no tense, no plurals, no gender, no pronouns. They have pronouns, but you don't have to use them all the time. All right, Spanish. Well, romantic languages are very hard to learn for English people. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, Romance languages are pretty easy for English speakers to learn, right? Because they're very similar. Like, there's lots of cognates, but that's easy. That's a big help. And there's like comparatively few cognates in Thai and English. All right, so I can't just look at a word and say, oh, that's spelled almost exactly like the word intelligent. It probably means intelligent, right? We don't have all these Latin root words to go off of that, you know, are easily comparable and easy to see the similarities. There is like a strange number of cognates though, like for words that I wouldn't expect. Like motorcycle is motorsai, and what are some other words? Salad, cheese. It's like, did they not have cheese in this country before the English-speaking influence came? Unless it's just like an accidental, cognate, but like just an accident that the words are that similar. In Thai, cheese is cheese, and I went to the restaurant the other day and I wanted to order cheesy fries. I knew how to say French fries. It's like French fry or something like that. And then I pointed. I couldn't really read the menu, so I pointed to the cheesy fries to the waiter, and I was like, "How do you say this word in Thai?" And apparently, the Thai word for cheesy fries is cheesy fries or something like that. Cheesy fry. So they just took the English word cheesy fries and like pronounced it with a Thai accent. So I thought that was really funny. Anyways, yeah, I'm really excited now because I feel like I'm finally at the level in Thai where I can kind of start piecing together conversations. I have been doing that really for a while. Like when I first came to Thailand, I took a Thai class with like a private teacher, and yeah, we spoke only Thai in that class. And it seems strange to say now because I don't know how we managed to speak only Thai, but we did. I didn't speak any English to her ever, except unless it was just like to say, how do you say this word in English or in Thai? But other than that, we spoke Thai for 3 hours a day. And she taught my lessons in Thai, and I understood somehow. And we had conversations about, about everyday stuff in Thai. But also part of that is because she was my teacher, and she was willing to like bend over backwards to try to have conversations with me. So it's a lot harder to do that with people in real life, especially when they're like at work and you're trying to buy something, or you're trying to like, they're just trying to make money by selling you whatever they sell, and I'm trying to have Thai practice while while buying something from them at the market or something. So it's a lot harder in that circumstance to practice your Thai. Although someone did mention last week, I don't know why I never thought about this beforehand. Someone mentioned that I should go get a massage, because massages here in Thailand are really cheap. It's like, I think it's like 200 baht for an hour, which is like $6 or something American. And I don't know why I never thought about that before, because if you go get a massage, then you have a captive audience be there and talk with you for an hour. And that's like half the price of the Thai lessons that I've been paying for. So that's a really good idea. Pudgster95 says, hi, I hope you're doing well. Thanks, I am doing well. I'm really enjoying Thailand. Roy Johnson says, how is your Glossop use coming? You a fan of the product? Yeah, I've had like a very strange relationship with Glossop over the past month or so. I've been using it for probably about a month. I haven't used it a lot, but I've used it quite a bit, I would say. I guess I'm on like 1,500 repetitions or something like that. I don't know if that's a lot or not. I use it most days. And it was really weird because at first, for the week, I started using it, and I like hated it. I was like, this is stupid. It was just like native speakers rattling off some of the first week and using Glossop, and I didn't like it, and I didn't think it was useful. I don't know why I kept using it, but for some reason I did. I did kind of see like some potential in it. I was like, okay, I can see how this could be good if you use it a lot, but it wasn't helpful to me at the time. And I think my problem was that when you start using Glossop, they like put you through like a placement test, or like just a quiz to see what level you should start at. And I think I scored a little too high on the quiz, so that they placed me into like a level that was above where I should have been. So then I went back again and I retook the placement quiz, and I like intentionally found phrases that were actually appropriate to my level. And now I like it pretty well. I like learning with phrases. I like that I have kind of a love-hate relationship with the idea that it's like native speakers speaking at native level fluency. Because sometimes I do need to like hear it slowly so I can understand what's being said, especially when it's a longer phrase. And that you can put it on slow, you can put it on like 75% speed on Glossop, but then it just sounds so distorted that it's like not even worth it. But so I've been using it quite a bit now, and I am enjoying it. I think it is going to be helpful. You have to use it a lot, I think, in order for it to really sink in, because there's no like quiz, there's no like comprehension check or anything. It's just essentially just listen to this phrase, and then once you do that, then you're just done and you move on to the next one. It's not like Duolingo where you have to answer a question or something, or like memorize where you click the answer and then and then if you get it right, then you progress forward, and if not, then you have to redo the question again. It's just like going straight through all the repetitions. But it's good. I have been learning. I'm finally starting to get to the point where I'm like, I'm starting to recognize words and stuff. I'm starting to remember words and stuff that are a little bit more removed from my daily life. So like early on, when I was learning, is like I would use eyes to learn these vocabulary words, and then I'm learning words like, I don't know, police station or van. It's like, when am I ever going to talk about a van when you're like not even an A1? I was in America studying, and it's like I'm not just not going to have to talk about these words or different. I don't know, like learning the word for garlic or learning the word for rain jacket. During your first month, you're not having conversations about garlic, So it was like learning all these words that didn't really seem relevant to what I was able to talk about at the time. And that kind of goes against a big part of my philosophy in language learning, because you have to jump into conversation. You have to speak. You have to practice talking with real people. And in order to do that, you have to learn how to say stuff that's relevant to you. So, for example, like one of the first things I learned how to say was I like languages, or I like learning languages, and I speak French, Spanish, and Esperanto, and now I'm learning Thai, and I speak English. So that's like something useful and relevant right away, because like when you meet someone, you want to talk about your interests, right? I was talking with a bunch of people online, practicing Thai with them on Hello Talk or like on Reddit and stuff like that, Discord. And so that's like one of the first things that I would say. I would make like record videos of myself practicing Thai. And that was some of the first things that I would say for someone who's just starting to say something like that. Or I like camping, I like hiking, I like running, whatever your interest might be. I like cooking, right? Like these are easy things to learn, and they're relevant, and they're things that you might actually use in conversation. They're things that will come up because you're interested in that stuff. Whereas, especially for someone like me who doesn't cook that much, garlic is not going to be a useful word, at least not right away. Maybe as time goes on and I start having slightly more in-depth conversations. So I thought I would go through the Common European Framework. What is it? The Common European Framework Reference for Languages. CEFRL. Sometimes I see a CEFR, sometimes I see. So this video is about being a beginner, breaking out of the beginner stages, which I've done several times, and now I'm trying to bust past that phase in Thai as well. So the A1 level, as defined by the Common European Framework for Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, is 1, you can understand and use familiar everyday expressions and very basic phrases aimed at the satisfaction of needs of a concrete type. So for that, I would say things like, you know how to order food, you know how to tell a taxi to go straight or to turn left or turn right or stop. You know how to tell the taxi you want to go. You can say please and thank you and hello and goodbye, and familiar everyday expressions, very basic phrases. Can introduce themselves and others, and can ask and answer questions about personal details, such as where they live, people they know, and things they have. Yeah, and I can do all of that stuff in Thai as of, well, I probably have been able to do that for a while. I don't always use good grammar when I do so, but you know, it's like I say, you use caveman speak. You know, me Tarzan, you Jane. You get your point across. Can interact in a simple way, provided the other person talks slowly and clearly and is prepared to help. And that's the big thing. When someone is prepared to help, I can have conversations with like full conversations. They're not pretty, and a lot of times it's like, oh, here, let me do charades really quick, and you can guess what I'm talking about, or you can like try to help me supply the word that I'm trying to explain. And then you add all that in and mix it in with your actual language use, and then you can have actual interpersonal communication. So that's A1. And then A2, which is known as the way stage or elementary, as opposed to A1, which is breakthrough or beginner. A2 is can understand sentences and frequently used expressions related to areas of most immediate relevance, e.g. basic personal and family information, shopping, local geography, and I feel like I can do that too. Understand sentences and frequently used expressions. You know, if it's a basic sentence or something that you hear a lot, just to be able to understand it, right? Like just based off of lots of exposure. Can communicate in simple and routine tasks requiring a simple and direct exchange of information on familiar and routine matters. And these are kind of vague, but you know, you kind of know if you can do that, right? Can communicate in simple and routine tasks requiring a simple and direct exchange of information. Like, yeah, I can do that. I can communicate in a simple, you know, in a simple way, get information from someone. You kind of have to define simple or routine before you jump into, well, before you can really decide whether or not you're able to say that you have reached this level or not. Can communicate in simple and routine tasks requiring a simple and direct exchange of information. Yeah, I can do that in Thai, just depending on how you define simple and direct exchange of information. And then the last one is can describe in simple terms aspects of their background, immediate environment, and matters in area of immediate need. And yeah, I can do that. Can describe in simple terms aspects. And it also, it's like, to what extent do you need to be able to do that? My past experiences and events in my life, or sorry, describe in simple terms aspects of your background, immediate environment, and matters of immediate need. And that's where it just gets tricky, you know, because like they just kind of blends together. I could probably go to like an expert in this common European framework and have them assess me, and they would do a better job. But just like going off of these like kind of skeletal definitions of the different levels, I feel like I could fall into either A1 or A2, but it probably just means like I'm somewhere in between. I don't think I'm quite at an A2 level yet. But A1, yeah. I would say I'm probably. Thai for me is interesting. This is really one of the first, I mean, it really is pretty much the first time that I'm kind of measuring my progress as I go through the levels. Because I started learning Spanish when I was in 8th grade. I was 14 years old when I started learning Spanish. And all I did was take classes at school. And I expected that to be able to teach me the language. And for pretty much anyone who has tried to learn a language just by going to school, you know that that doesn't work. Not really. It did. So between 8th grade and my first year of college, I learned, like, but it's like you don't really learn how to communicate. You learn how to conjugate verbs. You learn how to like determine between the indicative mood and the subjunctive mood, or the imperfect tense and the preterite tense. But like real life communication, you don't really learn that. So I didn't really get proficient in speaking Spanish until 2015 when I moved to El Salvador and I started making friends who speak Spanish. So it was kind of a weird roundabout way of learning Spanish. I guess it's not that weird. A lot of people learn Spanish in that way. Like first they take classes at school and then Spanish they later on, years later, develop either a language learning routine of their own, or they move to a foreign country or something like that to learn language. But like that was such a slow, drawn out process that I wasn't really able to keep track of what I was learning, or I didn't do a good job of documenting that. How many years did you take Spanish in high school? All 4 years. I took Spanish when I was in 8th grade, took it all 4 years of high school, and then my first year of college. Well, actually all 4 years of college too, but I had a long period of time between my first year of college and my second year of college. And so by my second year of college, I was. So, but yeah, that was my breakout from beginning of the time I moved to El Salvador. After of classes, though. So, you know, it took me just to get past the A1 level in Spanish, and that was kind of questionable. With Esperanto, that was a weird experience. So I was living in El Salvador when I started learning Esperanto, and I was interested in learning other languages. So I thought, hey, here's this language that's supposedly really easy to learn. Why don't I try that and see what it's like? And I saw that they were going to release a Duolingo course for Esperanto. So I thought, I'll wait around and use that. So I had to wait like several months because I saw like the pre-release, or like before they released the beta version of the Esperanto course. And then finally, I think it was May or June of 2015, finally I saw that the beta course had been released. So I went on Duolingo and I started studying Esperanto on Duolingo. And for like a week straight, that was like all I did. I just learned Esperanto. And I was in school at the time. And I was supposed to be like studying and like, I had other responsibilities, but I was just learning Esperanto. That was like what I was doing when I was supposed to be doing other stuff. And I learned Esperanto really quickly. Not to like a high level. I usually think of studying Esperanto on Duolingo pretty intensely. I went on learnu.net, which back then still had a like a chat It was like a chat room for Esperanto speakers. And I remember going on that chat room on learnu.net. Is it learnu.net or learnu.org? I think it's .net. And I was having chat conversations with people in a language that I started learning like on Monday. and now it's Friday and I'm already having full conversations with people. I had to use Google Translate a little bit, so I would have to use dictionaries, look up words here and there, but it was like 5 days later and I was having full conversations with people. That was a really weird experience. And then after that, really after that first month of learning Esperanto, I didn't really actively learn it at all, or barely. I would just record videos of myself speaking Esperanto, and then people would like correct me and give me advice and stuff on my Esperanto channel. And somehow or another, I slowly started to learn Esperanto. The really big breakthrough was earlier this year when I went to NASC, which is like an Esperanto immersion school, essentially like a summer school. And I just spoke Esperanto all day with people for like 9 days. And I improved a lot over those 9 days. Esperanto is so weird. You can just learn it so quick. So yeah, breaking out of the A1 level for me was like a week, 2 weeks or something. It was like ridiculously fast in Esperanto. With French, it was really weird too. I don't even know when I started listening to French music, but I didn't really understand any of it. I would just like listen to it. And how did I even start learning French? I don't know. Well, really, I started learning French when I started learning Spanish. That was the secret, really, because my first year of speaking French was essentially just like trying to say Spanish words with a French accent. So the summer of 2016, I started listening to French music, like French songs. And I would catch some words here and there, like just based off of knowing Spanish and based off of knowing some like Latin root. I would catch some words here and there, like just based off of knowing Spanish and based off of knowing some like Latin root words and stuff like that. And then must have been towards the end of the summer of 2016. I must have started learning French on Duolingo at that time and on Memrise. But I wasn't like studying real hard because I was still trying to improve my Spanish more at that time. And I knew I was going to be minoring in Spanish at that time. It's really funny. I was going into college knowing I was going to minor in Spanish, not knowing that I was also going to minor in French because I didn't speak French at the time. And so I was like, yeah, I'll go on Duolingo for fun and learn some French on Duolingo, learn some French on Memrise. Oh, a big part of the reason why I was doing that is because I knew I was going to take a road trip with my friend to Montreal at the end of the summer. It was like the week before school started. I went to Montreal with my friend Brett. Went to Montreal, practiced my French with anyone who would practice French, even though I barely speak anything. Then let's see. I guess after that point, I guess I just wanted to keep going and learning French. So I like slowly learned, like practiced French on Duolingo and Memrise. Then let's see, the beginning of 2017. Okay, yeah, in 2017, I was teaching Spanish lessons, and one of my students, he was like, hey, I just found this Pimsleur CD course at the library, and I borrowed it for free, and so I'm learning Spanish with Pimsleur. I was like, I should do that with French. So I got Pimsleur 2, and then memorize, and just by listening to music and from knowing Spanish beforehand, to skip out of Pimsleur 1. And then I just listened to Pimsleur 2 while I was driving back and forth to school. And then, oh, and I would also use Hello Talk. That was another big one, is that I would practice French with people on Hello Talk. But let's see now. When did I? So I still remember in the summer of 2017. So like a year after I started learning French, I didn't really speak much French at that point. Oh, I had gone on a hitchhiking trip to Canada. So yeah, I like spoke enough French that I could like kind of communicate very vaguely. I was maybe like an A2 level. But I feel like very vaguely, I was maybe like an A2 level. But I feel like I was able to quite a bit because I was willing to like just make a fool of myself and like act things out. Because I was willing to like just make a fool of myself and like act things out, or like not afraid of saying things wrong. All right, my laptop is about to die, so I gotta go grab my charger. Probably should have done that before I started my live stream. Charger. Probably should have done that before I started my live stream. Let's see. Then how did I break out of that? Oh, hi, Hugh. Thanks for joining. How's it hanging? It's going good, man. Hugh, thanks for joining. How's it hanging? It's going good, man. Progressing through the Thai. That's my goal right now. I am learning. I'm definitely learning. Some of for a couple months now, but the biggest thing is finding people to talk to. Like I now have 3 Thai teachers who are giving me lessons. Hi, Walter. Thanks for joining. And just finding Thai friends to hang out with and talk to and play games with and stuff. That's the really valuable part of my language learning so far. Anyways, I was talking about how I learned French. Man, like it was such a slow process with French, and I wasn't even that interested in progressing really. I just kind of wanted to like have just like the most basic level of French because I like traveling to Montreal. And so I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna like kind of like traveling to Montreal. And so I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna like kind of like sort of passively learn French as it's convenient. It's a really bizarre thing. And then so that summer, 2017, it's a really bizarre thing. And then so that summer, 2017, I decided to take the French placement test at my college because I knew I could get retroactive credits if I knew. I was like, if I can test out of 2 or 3 classes in the French department and then take 1 class, then I can get like 12 credits or something. So that would be cool. So I decided to do that, and I ended up testing out of like every French class in the like the beginner level French classes. So I tested into French 303, and my advisor saw that, and just 3 or 4 more French classes, you can get a minor. And I was like, all right, I'll do that. Guess I'm like actually learning French now. So somewhere in there, I don't even know when I broke out of the A1 level. It must have been sometime in 2017. Yeah, probably right around the time that I started using Pimsleur. Pimsleur is good. Like, it's not perfect, but it's good. I like Pimsleur. It helped me a lot with French, even though it's very like formal French. But anyways, all that to say that I haven't really had just like a straightforward language learning experience before, where I just like start learning the language and then just like progress through and also keep track of my progress. So it's gonna be time that I do that. And it's hard at first, because it's like, it's messy. I don't know what I'm saying wrong. I don't know what I need to learn, really. Like, I don't know how much there is out there for me to learn. And it's like, I want to start putting sentences together, but I don't know like how much grammar I'm missing, and I don't know. But that's like really the secret, is just like not to worry about that and to try. Just start talking. Just practice. You have to make mistakes. You have to say stuff that's wrong before you can realize that it's wrong, right? And then when people correct you, then you'll start actually progressing and making those connections in your brain. Pudster95 says, question, which language was your hardest from Esperanto? Spanish was the hardest language for me to learn. It took me like 10 years to become fluent in Spanish. Mostly because I was learning Spanish wrong. Like, I would go to class, do my homework, and I thought that would teach me Spanish. Esperanto was definitely the easiest. And then French and Thai were probably about the same. French because so similar to Spanish, it just was easy. It just was. And Thai because I feel like, honestly, I just feel like Thai is an easy language to learn. Okay. I don't have the handicap of it being similar to my language, but and I feel like Thai is very similar to that, because it's just like, the grammar just seems easy. And maybe I shouldn't keep saying that this early in my language learning with Thai, because like, I don't want to like study for 2 more months and then realize like, oh wait, there's actually all this difficult stuff in Thai that I haven't learned yet. So who knows? Maybe I'll reach a brick wall in Thai at some point. But so far, what I've learned is just seems pretty basic, pretty simple, very Lego-ish. And lots of the words are compound words. Like, you want to know how to say the word honey? You learn the word for bee, and you learn the word for honey. Like, I mean, English has a lot of stuff when you say, and that's honey. Like, I mean, English has a lot of stuff like that too, but it makes it easy to pick up on stuff. So, yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what's the best time for live streams. I haven't had a whole lot of interaction today with people, so maybe Friday nights American time is not the best time. Last week I had more interactions, but it's not that big of a deal. I'll keep trying to try new live stream times, find what works best for other people. And I think I'm going to end this video here. Oh, Gary Anderson says, have you considered the alternative hypothesis that one should live? I didn't recognize you at first. Yeah, that's a comment. Like, the main person I know that there's a strong proponent of that theory is Steve Kaufman, and he speaks a lot of languages. Like, he's a smart guy, and most of his ideas are based off of Stephen Krashen's work about comprehensible input. But that just seems so wrong to me. I'm not trying to. So I feel like there's two ends of a spectrum. There's like the Ben Lewis spectrum that's like, start speaking right away before you do anything else. Start speaking the language, and then there's the Steve Krashen, Steve spectrum where it's read and listen a lot and don't worry about producing until later. I'm not taking one side or the other because I think like all those are useful things. Like I do everything at the beginning. I listen and read, and I also try to produce language right away. Like I try to have conversations and say stuff and write stuff right away. So I do all of that, and I think it's useful. But I lean more towards the Benny side of the spectrum, where it's like, I don't think, for myself personally, I don't think I would learn very much without trying to produce and without making mistakes and just like embarrassing myself and putting myself out there and trying to use the language. Most people don't fall to like one extreme or the other, right? Like Benny wouldn't tell you to not read or listen in your target language, I'm pretty sure. So, take everything with a grain of salt, I guess. But yeah, for me personally, speaking is really important. Yeah, I wouldn't learn very much if I was just trying to do everything by input. Just trying to do everything by input. Anyways, I'm gonna experiment with some more. Live stream times throughout the next coming weeks, I guess. Thanks for those of you who did join and did comment and leave your input in the stream. I will see you guys sometime soon.